it's the first edition of the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV. My name is Adafi Matthew Esiogene. And you know, I love to talk sports, but it's sweeter when you have a lot of people to talk sports with and people who really know their game, like chef in the kitchen, who know their way around the kitchen. And that's exactly what I have with me today. Potpourri of guys who can cover sports from the top to the bottom. And then we'll travel to the United States of America to get the great, the ubiquitous Ayo today on Nobelu to talk to us on the NBA. You know, when Toronto Raptors for the very first time took the NBA trophy away from United States of America, let's make America great again, but Canada is getting greater. We thought that was the biggest story since Cleveland Cavaliers won the trophy with LeBron James. Well, with free agency in the mix, story has changed. So we'll go to Ayo Onobolu to give us all that. But let me bring up my panel today in the lounge. And thanks to Domino Pizza for bringing us the Chairman Pizza as well as all of the add-ons to make it very sweet. I have Emmanuel Sebastian. It's got my kind of spiky hair, wearing white like me. It's not a competition anyway, but I think we complement each other. And I've got Ojo Olabamiji. For me, he's Harry Cross. He's a big man in-house. He understands European football top to bottom. And I've got a guy who understands women football. He's talking about equal pay, this one, 150 something goals scored in the Women's World Cup. Well, he's going to come up and say all that. He is Benjamin, not Pava, Benjamin Akai. Yeah, so we all are going to break in, and I also have still to come on the show a Formula One expert. He understands not just Formula One, but he understands cars. He understands the DNA of cars, the aerodynamic nature of cars, and everything about cars. Let's keep that in the cooler. When we go on break, we'll bring him on board, and then he would break it down for us. But straight away, let's not keep you guys waiting. And thank you for subscribing to Elevator TV on YouTube. Thank you for following us across all social media platforms. Did I tell you that just yesterday, this man was celebrating his birthday, and as he was rounding up, my wife was putting to bed a bouncing baby boy. So this guy here has completed his hat trick. The World Cup has ended. Yeah, we won. Yeah, and the beautiful Mrs. Edafi, I can't wait to watch what we're doing here. But why that is said, let me hit the ground running straight away. And I'll start with you, Benjamin. They say ladies first. Sorry for saying ladies first after the guys. It doesn't make you a lady, but no problem. So let's start with you. The World Cup. I'm going to take it from this angle. Megan Rapinoe did the talking and did the walking. Highest goal scorer, best player, man of the match in the finals. What better way to go about it? And the fact that she didn't play all of the games. But that's not my concern. The Women's World Cup generally, at some point, we were even saying that it was more interesting than the African competitions. Yeah. And we will come to that later. But Megan Rapinoe said that if we win, this was before the tournament. I don't know if my producer can find that tweet. If we win, we're not going to go to the White House. So many people are turning down. This guy was making America great again. And then eventually they won it. Talk us through what happened in France.
Okay, what happened in France? We have so many stats, so many meetings, so many records. In France, the first VAR, the female, started. This is the first women's football World Cup. This is the first time they ever used it. Attendance, record breaking. No ever in any World Cup has this attendance. Viewership, TV has this kind of amount, over 1 billion.
Yeah.
All over the world. The match between France and France and Brazil in the quarterfinal was way
sold out.
In Brazil, it has over 59 million viewers.
Wow.
Let me come to the African perspective, because that's where we
were concerned about. Yeah.
3 African countries, 24 nations competed in this World Cup for the first time.
Yeah.
Round of 16 for the first time. Now we have 3 African countries. South Africa, the debutants. We have the regulars, Nigeria. They said Nigerians and World Cup is now 5 and 6.
It's yo-yo.
And we have a Cameroon team that is fast rising.
Yeah.
The second time in the World Cup, and they are doing very well. They all started poorly, to me.
Yeah, they did.
They all started poorly because every one of them were expecting at least one should win their first match, but they all lost. Well, thank God the second match, somehow Nigeria won. Then the backing started coming.
Thanks to Chile for missing that penalty. God bless Chile. Our celebration of another man's downfall.
I really always wonder why before a Nigerian team qualifies for World Cup, there needs to be a lot of calculation. We need to calculate.
The Super Eagles have
and demystify that. We don't buy calculators anymore. Calculators is not good business.
So the three teams all went well, and they managed. We now went back to the fasting and prayers. Yep. Waiting for days, especially the Falcons. The Cameroon team won, and that day they knew they were into the next round. But Nigeria, we waited, and so at the time I was saying they should just come back.
They that wait upon the Lord to renew their strength.
Unfortunately for us, unfortunately for Chile, unfortunately for us, we qualified.
Machiavellian principle: take one kingdom to fall for another to rise. It's okay.
So now, for the very first time again, like the record I told you. 2 African teams in the round of 16, which is unprecedented.
That's the first time?
First time ever, none. And also another first time, an African team will do a back-to-back qualifying for the next round. That's Cameroon. Like I still said it, Cameroon is fast rising. If Nigeria is losing sight, these girls will catch us up and push us down.
Well, for me, I think it's about time another team dominates Africa. It's becoming boring. Yeah, I know people will not like me for this, but hey, come on.
The competition should just come. It should.
Yeah.
It should. It's high time. I think the competition of not having any competition is keeping Nigeria at the level we are. But let me go back. We have USA. USA went all the way. They started with 13-0. After the 13-0, I was wishing like they should just end this World Cup and give them. Because how we beat someone 13-0, you're expecting to see playing. Oh, we should just end this thing. These guys will beat everyone. And they did it 7 straight matches. They never lose. And they never trailed in any of the match. Before 45 minutes, they are always a go ahead, always on top.
Netherlands, the commentator kept saying that who's going to be the first team to stay 12 minutes, 14 minutes without conceding, and Netherlands did it. And you could see the excitement from the side of the commentator. I was like, okay, this is what you came to the competition to do. To be the first team who did not concede a goal in 14 minutes, 15 minutes, and then he went first half, no goal. Okay, almost the end of the first half anyway. No, I know that. Hey, the Netherlands have done it.
Good for the Orange women. They did something that we've waited for 6 matches to stop.
See, yeah.
And that didn't stretch alone in this tournament. It came from all 2015, the final against Japan, USA-Japan. That was where this 12th minute goal scoring started from, until the final match. Thank God for the Orange women.
Speaking on the USA team, Mega Rapinoe came out firebusting, saying that women deserve equal pay. So based on this performance and everything, what do you think? Do you think she's right?
Even before the performance, to me, for the US national team, female national team, they should.
Okay. They say we shouldn't be calling female national team, so the women's national team. All right, so the women's national team. I would agree there that based on performance, equal pay is not a given. People make it look like men get all these big pay. There are companies where, are you saying that if a woman is the head of HR and the assistant is a man, the man will earn more than the woman? Obviously, no. Equal pay is something you earn. This is my opinion. It's something you earn. You don't get it because you're female. These men have worked their way from a long way downtown. Women, I also appreciate the effort that they put into the world. I'm a lover of women. I mean, I was raised by a very strong black woman, very strong woman. Yeah, but I think when it comes to this equal pay talk, the way they push it, I don't like it.
I agree.
Don't make it an entitlement thing, but make it a merit thing. Now, coming to the U.S. national team, I would advocate for the women national team, the U.S. women national team, to earn more than their male counterpart because they won everything. Super Eagles of Nigeria, on the continent of Africa, they should be paid the same bonus with the Super Falcons. Yes. And all these governors and all these businessmen who go to promise money that nobody asks them, they should also do the same for the women. And that should also cover the female basketball team and swimming team and the rest. It should be equal. When we talk of equal, it's not just football. It's everywhere. When the Tigress do what they are supposed to do and do it well, they should get paid. But stretching it all over and say because you're a woman, you just deserve it. Well, that's why I would not agree. But holding that thought, now let's move to grassroots because we're talking about women development and the rest. Let's go to you. You are our man that covers especially the Surulere League. You also see football from Ajegule, Sebastian. Talk to me. Talk me through what you've seen in grassroots football in the last 7 weeks. that makes you feel maybe there's hope for Nigerian football, grassroots transiting into the main league and all that? What have you seen?
Okay, so grassroots football in Ajegunle, it's still very raw. Now, but talking about the Surulere League, this is a league, that comprises of 34 teams, grouped into two in like an abridged format, 17 in one group and 17 in another group, with one team playing 16 matches. So it's been in existence since 2011. It was then known as the National Stadium League. It was rebranded to the Surulere Regional League just last season. So it's a wonderful experience. The league, it's in as much as we have players who love football, and a lot of them with European experience, you still see them, playing this grassroots football. Not only the players, we have the managers as well. And these are managers with great experience when it comes to football, and we see club owners as well coming to cheer on their team. So the Surulere League is one league where you see grassroots football at its best. And I think it's one of the grassroots football in Lagos where you have the highest number of participants. That's about 34 teams. So I don't think there's any other league who can match up to that number. So when you talk about grassroots football, it's great. It's a great sight to behold. When you're and games are being played every Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays at the main bowl stadium, an iconic venue, even as wherever you would love to play football. But on Sunday, it's being played at the Legacy pitch. So it's a wonderful experience to behold. When you see grassroots football, you see the passion from the players, from the managers as well, and from the club owners coming to watch football. And you see locals who love football trooping in to watch football, supporting the team on the field of play. So it's a great sight to behold. And it tells you that if those players can keep their head straight, put their head up high, you can tell there's a future when it comes to Nigerian football.
If I also ask, what's the major aim of this Surulere grassroots football?
I think the major aim is to make grassroots football, competitive. Not just playing football, ordinary kind of football. You just enjoy football with your friends. But when you play football, a competitive kind of football, trying to liken it to the professional league you watch abroad, playing across a set of players you've never met before. When you see them, competing with them in a standard league, so that brings the glamour, the excitement, the drive for these players to perform because they are playing against their fellow players who they want to be better than.
This season, Emmanuel, if I were cut in here, this season FC Bethel on one side seemed to be like one of the things to look out for. For me, because of our experience with the Lagos State FA Cup, I was always looking out for teams like Box to Box, G12, but they've not really lit up the league like FC Bethel. When you look at that team, what makes them special? Because they're winning like every week, scoring a lot of goals, topping the league. So the last time I checked, I don't know if the table have changed now, but what's special about FC Bethel?
I think they've done so well. They're in one of the group standings. I think just to decide the winner of the league is going to be decided in a Super 6 format. So the top 3 teams from each group, playing against each other in a Super 6. And talking about FC Bethel, they occupy one of those, top 3 spots in one of the standings. This is a fantastic team. They have good management, good organization. They have good crop of players. There's an Idowu Taylor there who has a good left foot. He knows how to play, how to manage his game and play the football very well. So I think it's a team that has good organization. When they come to play football, whenever you see them, whenever any match day you see them on the pitch, they come with a full house. The owners are there to watch them, the managers, the fan base they come with. So it's the structure of that club. It just seemed bright for them. Yep. So that's one thing they do so well.
Recently we were at the Campus Square, where Betway, a major betting brand in the world, gave jerseys to G12. And we've also seen some jersey presentation while you were covering it. Say some teams come with some beautiful jerseys. And at some point I was saying that, why is it that some of the jerseys in this Surulere League are better than the jerseys in the MPFL? No shading here. This is not 50 Shades of Grey, but this is me just saying it the way it is. And why do we have all of these fanfare, but we don't have it in the top league? Now, that's one question. The second question is, do you think that teams like G12 and Box to Box are more focused on selling their players rather than really getting in the shindig to compete and win the Surulere League?
I think they want to compete. Looking at G12, this is a team. They're very young. They have a couple of young players, fantastic players as well. They competed in the FA Cup last time out. So, and looking at Box to Box as well, they have good players. I think these teams, they are competitive. They want to win the league. Talented players. There's a player in box to box. He's known as Benteke amongst his teammates. Yeah. His name is Andrew Michael. This is one fantastic player they have as well. So each of these teams, they have good crop of players, good fan base that comes to support the team every time. When you see the passion from the owners, at times when you watch the match from the stands, you think the club owners are the one managing the team because how excited they are, wanting their team to win these football matches. So it's a great sight to behold. So these are teams that really want to win the league, and you can tell when you look at the table, you can see how well they perform, how well placed they are, to move on to the next stage. So it's a good sight to behold. Fantastic one from G12 and Boxer.
Permit me if I may. Okay. I'm a viewer watching this right now because I'm talking from a personal point of view because I have a lot of talented friends who are they're just playing football for fun. Are you planning to manage them? no, not really. But if I'm watching this right now, how do I get into the Surulere League? That's one. And two, what are the opportunities that probably will present themselves for me if I perform well there?
Okay, so getting into the league is a process, a registration process, and this is a league that is, played among semi-pros. If you have a semi-pro team, you can register into the league, and if you have a football academy, you can as well register into the league. So there's a registration process to get into the league. So if you do well and you get into the top 3 place, then you get to perform among the Super 6. So that is how the process is being run. So once you get through the registration process, then you've been grouped into either one of the Group A standings or the Group B standings. Then you get to play amongst your opposition.
Well, if I get your question correctly, I think you're talking not as a club, but as individual players, right? Individual players. I think what happens, as the name goes, is Surulere League. Yeah, there are some invited teams, like we saw some teams from Asia playing the Copa America, but it is basically built for the teams that are playing in Surulere, National Stadium, that area. Now, what will happen for individual players is you must find yourself playing for any of the teams that are qualifying. It's like saying, how do I play in the EPL? A team among the 20 in the EPL must sign you to play in the EPL, or you play for the championship team and hope that they gain promotion. So that's my own. Talking about opportunities, and that's a very strong one. Yeah. Lately, when you look at some of the players that have transferred abroad from Lagos, they come from that circle. Victor Osimhen, Taiwan was playing for Shirley Finjana's team, but a lot of these teams that have transferred players all play in that region. So I think the competitiveness is what gives you the opportunity. And knowing that you play in the Surulere League, you also play in the Lagos State FA Cup, and now Elegbeda TV covers both the Surulere League and the FA Cup. There's a great opportunity for you to be seen, and if you find consistency in your game, you obviously will go. You wanted to say...
Yeah, and also talking about the teams participating in the league, they've done so well, in expanding the teams. We see teams coming from the mainland as well participating in the league. There's a certain Atlantic FC who are now participating in the league. This is a team that comes all the way from the island, and there are other teams who come from other outskirts of the mainland, not just in Surulere. And the alumnus list in the league it's something to behold as well. A certain Henry Yoreku who played in this league in one of the in the first season it started. Then it was called the National Stadium League. There's a certain Michael Babatunde as well. He passed through this league. Yes. So he played for Great Olympics here in the league. So it's a good sight to behold. When you see players, the list is just long. I can't just keep mentioning them on and on. So when you see them performing abroad, they can say, okay, I once played in this league. I once participated in Surulere League. So it's a wonderful league.
Well, before we go on the break, let me round up with him on women football. The World Cup has ended. Nigeria is still the defending champion of the African Women Championship, sorry. What is next for us? Do we keep Nabri, Denabri, or whatever his name is? Do we keep him and keep the team going? What do we do?
Wow. We have a qualifier next month.
The Olympics?
Olympics.
Okay.
So we can't fire him now.
Okay, so...
we have to do something they call keeping for that.
I'm sorry, they didn't play well for me. I didn't enjoy.
We've been playing well. We didn't get past group stage. We didn't play well, but we got $1 million. Do you understand? We got $1 million. That's do the math. That's 360 million. Come on, we got money. Sometimes.
Are we going to ride on luck?
I don't know if it is luck. Everybody, see, great people bring their own luck. Okay, so we need to go on this break. When we come back, we would bring in Formula One experts. I hear that English people were mad this weekend. Why is the Wimbledon men's finals, the Cricket World Cup finals, and the British Grand Prix all pin up on the same time, in the same country? Nightmare for broadcasters and nightmare for fans. But well, we make sense out of all of that but the major focus is Formula One. Let's go on this break. Don't forget to subscribe to Elevated TV on YouTube and across all our social media platforms. Follow us, comment, say whatever you think of the show. Having said that, all of these guys, follow them individually because they've got something to offer. We will be right back. All right, welcome back. It's still the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV. I still remain your host, Idafe Matthew Esogene, and as it is, we've done some tactical adjustment and change, substitution. Benjamin Akai. I've left, and it took us time. You know, we had to clear his visa issue, his work permit, resident permit, get him all the way from the United States of America en route the United Kingdom and brought him to Nigeria. Some people call him Pope Francis, but I'd say Pope Francis isn't me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, his name is Francis, isn't it? And don't look at the shy face. This guy is got it all when it comes to Formula One. I'll bring Formula One to the front burner, but I hear that Ojo Bamiji, I've got a top 10 list of something. What it is, I don't know. But what's that top 10? Top 10 what?
So basically, I created a list of my top 10 transfers of for this summer so far. So kicking off, I'll start with Joao Felix, moving from Benfica to Atletico Madrid for 113 million, making him the third most expensive signing. For me,
Madrid, is that an English league team? No, continue.
okay.
I don't know, the richest league in the world are not breaking this record, so I'm just wondering. We'll continue. Let's have some fun.
We'll get to that, but basically, Joao Felix is in that Mbappe mode, isn't he? He's broken all the youngest player to score a hat-trick. I watched one particular game against him. I think it was against Frankfurt in Europa League, and he was everywhere. He scored a hat-trick. He gave the assist for the fourth goal. It was massive, but for 113 million, a young man, the pressure that's going to be on him in Atletico Madrid, I think is going to be paramount on him. They've given him the number 7 shirt already.
Is he the new Cristiano Ronaldo? Because we can't even say he's the new Antoine Griezmann. Is he the new Portuguese Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, we can't say that yet. We can't, because he just came into the fold from January.
Does he look like somebody who will live up to the hype, or the big money transfer will kill him?
Well, unlike the EPL, the La Liga, there's really no much spotlight on big money signings in La Liga. For example, Coutinho has gotten away with exactly. So I think he might have a little bit of time to adjust, and I think he will be fine. But for me, it's outrageous, if you ask me. He's a talent, he is, but it's quite outrageous.
Are we not in a time where everything is outrageous in football?
Yeah, you're right, but doesn't mean we won't still question this. It doesn't mean. We still will.
Passion is dying, money is talking.
Basically. Moving on to number 2, Eden Hazard to Real Madrid. That's a transfer story that has been coming on for probably the past 2 seasons now, and it's finally happened. And I'm really happy for him because he made the right decisions to stay. Because I mean, his last match was a man of the match performance against his favorite team, Arsenal. Terrorized the Arsenal defense.
Can you pretend like I didn't hear that? I don't even know the team called Arsenal. My mind is on this chairman pizza.
But basically, let me throw a question to the room, to you and yeah, basically. Do you think Hazard can replace Ronaldo? Because this is definitely, Hazard should not think this is a galactical signing that they are all brought in to replace Ronaldo. He is the one the spotlight to be on. Do you think he can do it?
I don't think so. I don't think Ronaldo is not the kind of player you replace. This is my opinion. Ronaldo is not the kind of player you replace. Like Argentina have been trying since forever, Ariel Ortega, this one, that one, to replace Maradona. That's the kind of players you don't replace. You just say, thank you, God, that in this era, in this time, we had this player. AC Milan has been trying to replace Marco van Basten since forever. The Dutch national team have been trying to replace Marco van Basten since forever. There are certain kind of players you just can't replace. So I don't think replacing him, just like Manchester United is suffering right now because they're trying to replace Alex Ferguson, and they would never be able to replace Alex Ferguson. There are some products, like the Ferrari Enzo, for instance, they are limited edition. I'm going to come to that with Francis, but there are certain things that are limited edition. You don't replace them. You move on and make do what you have.
And just to add to that, I think it's coming to become his own kind of player. You know, like he said, Ronaldo is a player you can't replace in a team. And we have to mention credit to Hazard, for leaving Chelsea without any disagreement or any beef with the board, and he left. The board were happy. Everyone was wishing him well, and living on a high, winning the Europa League trophy. But talking about replacing Ronaldo, I think he's coming to become his own player. Build his own legacy. Bring his own style of play. Ronaldo is a big player in Real Madrid. So is he replaceable, if you want to use that word? So I think he's just coming to play his game and be Eden Hazard.
All right, I think I agree with both of you. Moving on to number 3, I think it's a response to Real Madrid's signing all these players that they signed is Antoine Griezmann to Barcelona. It's a very exciting signing. So the question now is, are they going to recreate the MSN to GSM or something? But this transfer is actually the transfer that, we were speaking about transfer that cost, exactly. I think it's going to, because now the question is, what's going to happen with Coutinho? What's going to happen with Dembele? Is Neymar still going to come back?
So I want him to come anyway.
You do?
Yeah, I want him to come.
Then what happens with Suarez? What happens with all these other guys?
Yeah, this is my take, and I've been saying this, that's the reason why I want Neymar to come. People say once you get Griezmann, it's a low-budget version of Neymar, and I disagree. Antoine Griezmann is the first player that have come in to replace David Villa. A lot of people would argue about that, but Barcelona have never replaced David Villa. David Villa came in to soften the exit of Samuel Eto'o, and then he left for America, and it was difficult to replace him. So they created difference in the winning treble here, this one there, that one there. But you could notice that they are struggling either with scoring goals sometimes or the creativity. If Messi say no dies, there's no other person that steps up to the plate. But then with him, it's good to have him. And I think that one of the biggest loss with FC Barcelona was the fact that nobody replaced Xavi Hernandez. And then Iniesta also left. There was no proper replacement. But that is easier to replace. You could just juggle your team and set up the midfield in such a way that you solve that problem. But this is my take. If I was Ernesto Valverde as a coach, I'll tell Messi, you have no point to prove to anybody anymore. Even if you don't win any Ballon d'Or anymore, you don't win any award anymore, you don't win any Pichichi anymore, you've done more than is expected from you in 100 lifetime, in just one lifetime. So drop to the Xavi Hernandez position for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Messi does not have too much for him anymore. Then you have Neymar, that is if Neymar comes. Okay. You have Neymar to the right, Antoine Griezmann in the middle, and Suarez to the other side. And the funny thing, these guys, no team, no two set of players know how to interchange like Neymar and Suarez. So if you have that team, and people say that Messi can't play in midfield, and I said that Messi had more assists in the La Liga than just about any other player. And what's the job of Xavi is to assist the guys who score. So I think it's doable, but I really want to see that transfer happen.
Holding on to that thought of Barcelona never replacing Xavi and Iniesta, he moves on to my number 4. That's Frankie de Jong, moving from Ajax to Barcelona. I personally love Frankie de Jong. I watched his performance against Real Madrid, and oh my God, it was a delight. You saw Modric scrambling on the ground, moving anyhow.
But I think it's that performance that made them sign him. Like, okay, El Clasico have started already.
Exactly.
In your face kind of signing.
Exactly.
Like, this guy dealt with you. We're bringing him on. The torture will continue.
Well, so it begs to my question: do you think Frankie de Jong is in that mode? Is he in the Xavi or Iniesta mode?
Xavi and Iniesta are 2 gifts to nature. They are like Andre Pirlo. You're not going to see them come
again
through the run again. What's it called? Frankie de Jong is more of a younger and vibrant Luka Modric. So probably you could say he's a Vominia Boban kind of player, but not Andres Iniesta and Xavi. Andres Iniesta thinks like a chess player. He's 10 steps ahead of everybody. He's making a move. He knows the 9 people behind him that will get to the ball before he gets to him. And before he gets to him, he knows 10 people in the opposition side that could stop the move and those who are not in a position to stop it. So when he lays the pass on the plate, reminds me of what Dennis Bergkamp used to be for Arsenal, the only player to create 2 goal-scoring legend for a single club. Dennis Bergkamp made and right the all-time highest goal scorer, and made Thierry Henry the all-time highest goal scorer as well. That's the kind of player that Xavi is. But would Frankie de Jong become that kind of player? I really don't think so. But it would it would add value.
And one thing we'll be looking forward to is to see how the manager Ernesto Valverde gets to blend these players in his starting next side. Yeah, so we still have a certain Arturo Vidal in that midfield. There's an Arthur, and he has his work in that team. He does the dirty work, and there's a certain Sergio Busquets who I think he's still going to retain his starting position. There's a Rakitic. We don't know if he's leaving or staying at the moment. So it's another thing to see. This is a manager who you might want to say is still lucky to still be on the job with the way they've been eliminated from the Champions League, a trophy which Lionel Messi came out to openly admit that it is what they are going after. So it's something we really want to see, how it tends to blend this crop of players, how it tends to fix them in the starting SI, not forgetting Griezmann as well, who came in, and there's a talk of Neymar coming in. So we just wait to see what kind of season Barcelona is going to have.
I think Barcelona is trying to create a team that says score us 10, we'll score 11.
Because they're not looking at the defense.
They're not signing anybody at the back, and they don't believe score us 10, we'll score 11. We'll keep possession more than you, longer than you. We'll create the chances, and we know that if Suarez is not scoring, if he goes on that bad luck run, Griezmann is not going to go that. But let's see how it goes anyway.
Okay, moving on to number 5. Let's go to the EPL for the first time, because the first 4 have been all La Liga transfers. The number 5 is quite a brilliant signing for me, because I see it as a succession plan for Fernandinho for Man City. It's Rodri actually. He's brilliant. Fernandinho is 34 and is probably getting to the end of his career. Rodri, the new Sergio Busquets, the upcoming, he plays like him basically.
And he does what Pep Guardiola wants.
Yes, exactly. So I feel it's a very brilliant signing for Manchester City. And if you see the Manchester City midfield options, it's like the Avengers. Honestly, it's really crazy. So that's my number 5. Moving on to number 6, we're going back to Spain. And Luka Jovic moving to Real Madrid. This sparked up a debate on Twitter that would he start ahead of Benzema? Benzema is Real Madrid. He was their best player last season.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the question is he going to bench him? Are they going to play together?
This is what I think. There is that point where Benzema is not playing, like last season. It's not scoring, it's not delivering the goods. But you look at the bench, Asensio, this one, that one. They are really not the people to bring in. So I think they think Luka Jovic will come in and ease that burden when he's not playing. But my problem is when you bring in a big player like this with all this big hype and all that, and then you want him to play cameo. Some people don't easily ease in that way. But if he clicks, would it be the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of Manchester United in his playing days, where he comes from the bench and deliver the goods, no questions asked? The manager says jump, and he says, how high do you want me to jump? He says fly. He says, you want me to shoot the moon or shoot for the sun? Well, let's see how it happens. We can do all these permutations here, but I think it's good to have a backup, a proven goal scoring backup for Karim Benzema.
If you ask me, I don't think it should be a backup. See, Jovic is a poacher. He's a brilliant poacher. There was a game, I think it was against Chelsea. Yeah, in that mode. He had not even caught the ball. He had not fired the shot. Yeah, his teammate was already celebrating. Yeah, he knows already. So I don't think it should be a backup.
Now, when you watch somebody in training for a very long time and they are in their zone, there's something called your zone. Like when we bring this man on Formula 1, in his zone, you already know what's going to come. You're feeling butterflies, you're feeling joy. I think that's what happened. But it's coming to Spain. Coutinho was a menace in England, came to Spain, couldn't find his feet. Dembele was running everybody ragged in France, came to Spain. So I think it's a good plan to ease him in gradually. Benzema doesn't have up to 5 years to play football again. So you want to have somebody who will come in and step up to the plate.
Okay, that's moving on to my number 7 is Tanguy Ndombele for Spurs. For the past 3 seasons now, I think Tottenham have managed to keep their core players. That's Kane, Eriksen, Lloris, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, but now they've added real quality to their ranks. I'm really looking how that will come into play. I'm really looking at it because he's a brilliant footballer. I thought United were in for him, and United
they slowed. I think the spirit of Arsene Wenger took over Manchester United in that period. While they were in the waiting room, I think it's the Bible that says that while men sleep, and while men slept. So that's what happened. While Manchester United slept, something else happened.
No, it's a brilliant move. But the question now is, can he still keep the core players? Can he still keep them? The Eriksen, can he still keep them this well? Because I'm sure Kane is thinking, I've been their head goal scorer for probably in the past 2, no, not the last one. Exactly, I've been there. I have nothing to show for it.
But nobody's coming for him. Let's not forget that nobody's coming for him. We've heard
isn't that absurd?
There is English players, there's the English players factor. He will eventually go to the US and play for the Beckham team. The truth is, you look at the English players, you know that English players are awkward in a certain kind of way. So you want to take a Harry Kane, where are you taking him to? He can't fit into that Juventus team, Route 1 player. He can't fit into Real Madrid. He can't fit into Barcelona. There is not much flair. It's just give me the ball, I shoot. Every English striker is styling their game after a certain Gary Lineker that won the highest goal scorer in 1986. That's their greatest dream, their greatest achievement, to be like Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker's kind of football doesn't work anymore. You want somebody who can hold up play. You know somebody who can do the link-up play. You need somebody who can get other people into the party. And somebody who you do not need to narrow the team to favor. Because to me, Spurs is narrowed angle to favor Harry Kane. So when he's not playing and Son comes in, you see the dynamism to that team. But that doesn't happen with him. But because he's scoring, it's like Leicester and Vardy. You can't change it.
I think he still has one or two seasons to play for Spurs.
Okay.
After that, go to China.
So the way you look at it, they just came back from building a new stadium. They got to the Champions League final. So you might just look at it and say, okay, we still have our manager with us, and let me just give it one more season. Give my all to this club, and just like Eddie Hazard, leave on a high. But talking about Tanguy,
on the high, when you say on the high, what are they going to win?
They might just get something they've never gotten before. Get over the line, win a trophy. Might be the FA Cup, might be the Capital One Cup. Just leave on a high.
Yes, maybe.
I like the fact that you're giving them those.
No, we didn't expect them to reach the final last season.
I did. That's true.
Yeah.
True. I don't like Spurs anyway. So whatever they're cooking in their house is, I'm not feeling the aroma.
And it's great to see them, getting some deals over the line. You might look at Wanyama. This is a player who's not been at his best, in the last couple of seasons. And looking at Ndombele, one of the informed players for Lyon, they've got some couple of good players at the moment. I don't know if they'll be able to hold on to all of them. There's the Naby Fekir, there's Memphis Depay, there's a certain young French chap, Hassim Aouar. These are good crop of players for this Lyon side. So, the clubs might just be looking at them, just to get their players. But Tanguy Ndombele, good player, good number 6. He knows how to play the position very well.
Well, this is where I'm going to hold your thoughts and leave your number 7 now. Yeah, number 7. You round up with the remaining 3, but I love cars. I don't have the money to buy the best of cars right now, but in my head, I'm actually driving a Bentley, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes, and some heavy-duty trucks as well. In my head, in my dream, I actually drove one year. Today, I take cars ahead of private jets, because private jet you have to pack it somewhere, the luggage, but that feel. So let's come to Formula 1. Francis, it's your time to talk to us. What's up with Formula 1? Is it a one-man show? Is it a Mercedes-Benz and their gang, or what's happening?
You see, Formula 1 is not a one-man show.
Okay.
But there's one man who is very, very good.
Running the show.
And sitting in the best car, just in front of the best engine. And that is exactly what is going on, or has been going on since 2014.
Before you go on, sorry, I have a question. What makes a good rider, the car or the person himself?
There are several good drivers on the start-finish line, but the engine has to sound right. The engineers have to be in tune with the driver. Even his weight has to be in tune with the car. So there are a lot of different things that come into play that make him win. But there are a lot of very good drivers.
Okay, so let's talk about, today I'm going to focus. We all know that Mercedes-Benz and Lewis Hamilton are on the ranking. Everybody knows that. That's not what I want to talk to. How many people makes a backroom staff for a Lewis Hamilton, for instance?
Okay, so for Lewis Hamilton, the engineers per se, you need at least, for one Formula 1 car, you need at least 16 to 20 engineers. Okay. If not, the car will have a certain kind of issue. Something somewhere will not balance. Like today we had people, last weekend we had the Formula 1, the Mercedes car overheating, even at having enough engineers and not being able to predict that kind of issue will come up. So we have certain issues like that when one person is missing.
Now, this precision with which they change the tire is close to what I call robotic mastery
it is
of
close
engineering.
To perfection.
How many minutes does it take? Like for the guys who are out there, how many minutes or how many seconds? Sorry.
Okay, so to drive through the to take a drive through the pit lane takes about 20 seconds. But like Red Bull today won the fastest tire change. 4 tires in 1.9 seconds. So before the driver, they tell him, box, box, box. That's the word to bring him in. They tell him, box, box, box. And just before he gets there, the entire team of about 10 people are standing there. Is the person who is holding what's going to lift the car from the ground, front and back. And then there are people who are holding the tires to put them on, and there are people who are holding the machine to unscrew it, and people who are waiting for the tire, for the machine to unscrew the tire and to remove it. Then the other person will put the tire and drop it.
And you do all that in 1 point something seconds?
1.9 seconds.
Now, hold on. I've never, I follow Formula One. I've never seen, I've been to filling stations where there is a mistake, the driver, the pump is still, the nozzle is still in the front end, and it drives off. And I've seen that happen around. I've seen a whole lot of problem with that in real life. Because Formula One is beginning to look like it's not real life. I've never had a situation where the driver drives off and is dragging like 3 people with him, and they're like, hey, stop, somebody, you know. How does that happen? I mean, training, what really happened? How does it work?
Okay, so you were asking about how that tire change thing happen. So that's why I say Formula One to me is the best sport in the world. Because it has a certain, listen, calm down. Because it has a certain symphony. How I can equate it to a football match. 10 minutes, only Barcelona will hold the ball for 10 minutes and say, you know what, let's just pass this ball, let's not score. And they will do it perfectly for 10 minutes.
And then that is changing 10 players.
That is changing 4 tires. Not 10 guys, about 15 people changing 4 tires in 1.9 seconds. That is symphony. Yes, and 22 cars doing it perfectly well. That is symphony.
Now, there's something I read about Formula One. I think I saw Lewis Hamilton on the Ellen DeGeneres show when he went to the US. Was it last year or last 2 years? And he said something there. Well, Ellen DeGeneres threw up this question and said, okay, you are in that pit. How many minutes does it take or hours does it take to do a Formula One race? Can you answer that? One whole race. Football game is 90 minutes, for instance. Basketball is 2 hours. If you add up the breaks. So Formula One.
So a Formula One race takes under 2 hours, so the same as a football match.
Good.
Yeah.
So Lewis Hamilton showed up and he said, the way the suits is designed, you can actually urinate inside, and it doesn't inconvenience you. It doesn't cause you any problem. He also said that that your weight,
really
your weight matters. That
I cannot drive.
Your weight to weight distribution really matters.
It cannot be in a Formula One car.
Bambi
can never win.
He
will drive the car. Yes.
They can make a car specification, but
he will never win.
He can never win. It means that okay, let's say the average weight of a Formula One car is 200 kilograms and the driver is 75 kilograms. So that has given them a lot of room to play with. But when you're now weighing 100 kilograms, now they have to shed a lot of things off the car. And the things they are shedding off the car will also, how do I put it?
Slow you
come
down.
in contract with what will keep you comfortable in the car. So that's just a lot of it.
Well, if you're watching for the very first time, this is the first episode of the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV, and we're really having great fun. Unfortunately, time is not as friendly as we thought it would be. So this is a point where we would draw the curtains, slide out, and say that next week we would be here. He was supposed to round up with the transfer and all that, but we're keeping it on hold. It's going to come back next week and talk about it. But next week we would have a lot more to talk about. Formula One, the African Nations Cup would be rounding up, if I'm correct, and a whole lot would have been settled, and we will be here to break it down bit by bit. Don't forget that we pride ourselves to say we love grassroots and we're the king of grassroots. So as grassroots football is growing in Nigeria, we want to play our part in it. But it's been nice talking to you, Emmanuel Sebastian. Thank you very much for being on the show today.
Always good to be here. Good to be here.
I request the man who should never be in a Formula One car. But make sure you gather those your friends and find a way to put their passion into a business form. Somebody said to me yesterday that if you cannot convert knowledge into money, it's wasted, it's an abuse. You are a menace to the society. Yes. So maybe you have a side hustle that does intermediary or agency and give those players a shot. One day, I do hope that Pope Francis will be here, driving in a Formula One car. Or probably we would go to the Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, Hungarian Grand Prix, Italian Grand Prix, one of these Grand Prix, and it would just be there giving us in swinger. But I am not going to leave the show. I promise you, and the promise is a debt. So we're going to keep this promise. Let's go to the United States of America and switch our minds to the screen right now. It is time to make sense of what free agency have become. I thought there is no story that is going to ever be bigger than hearing that Toronto Raptors won the NBA, which means that the NBA title is out of the United States of America for the very first time in the history of the NBA. But do you know where Russell Westbrook is right now? Do you know why Kawhi Leonard is not going to be wearing the Toronto Raptors jerseys next season? I can't wait for the season to start, but let's go to the best man when it comes to basketball that I know in the world. Ayotunde Onobolu is in the United States of America and is ready to make sense of all of this from the NBA side of town. And with that, I say hasta la vista. See you next week.
It's clutch time, baby. Hey everyone, thanks for checking in with the best of basketball with me, Ayo, on Sports Lounge, only on Elegbeta TV. And on this segment, you get nothing but the very best of basketball info like you can nowhere else. Now, could anything possibly trump the title-winning exploits of the Toronto Raptors? Believe it or not, the madness of free agency 2019 has made the basketball world almost forget the heroics of the Raptors in the NBA Finals. The latest drama this offseason is the trade that sent Russell Westbrook from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Chris Paul. So let me give you a little backstory to this move. Now, Kawhi Leonard led the Raptors to the NBA title in June and declined his player option, enabling him to become an unrestricted free agent. And after holding talks with a few teams, he decided to join forces with the Los Angeles Clippers. And how does this concern OKC or the Rockets? Well, the news of Kawhi joining the Clippers was immediately followed by news that Paul George had been traded from OKC to the Clippers, and the whole world went, holy cow. So what happened was Kawhi reached out to PG, since they're very close friends, and convinced him to demand a trade at OKC and join forces with him at the Clippers. Both of them are from Southern California, by the way. So this move by Paul George meant Russell Westbrook was left alone as the star of OKC for the second time. Remember 2016 when Kevin Durant left him? Well, there must be something about Russ, ain't it? That's been said by a lot of people that no star wants to play with Russ because he's a ball hog, and they don't believe OKC can win a title with him leading the charge. But all those talks were reduced drastically once news emerged that Russ and OKC's front office had a meeting where it was agreed that Russ would in fact be traded, signifying that OKC had made up their minds to go into full rebuild mode. Now, speculations have had it that the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets were two teams Russ was likely to be traded to, but it's understandable now that Miami don't think they might achieve much with Jimmy Butler as the only star, since next season's league will be made up of a lot of incredible duos on several teams. But why then would the Rockets want to trade for Russ since they already had Chris Paul? Well, news emerged that CP3 had a fight with Rockets superstar James Harden after they lost to the undermanned Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference semi-finals. Their relationship apparently was seared beyond repair, even though CP3 came out to debunk any such fight. But you can imagine then it became kind of easy to pull off the trade between Houston and OKC. Oh, you also have to remember that Russ and Harden are great friends, and they were former teammates at OKC, and Harden has come out to say that there will be a lot of fun times next season playing alongside his friends. We'll find out. But questions continue to hang over CP3's future with OKC now, because it's obvious that OKC is in rebuild mode, and having a 34-year-old veteran on their roster isn't quite what a rebuild is all about. The major factor is Chris Paul, who signed a maximum deal when he joined Houston in 2017, still has 3 years left on his deal worth over $124 million. And so now the speculation is linking him to Philadelphia and Miami. There are great times ahead. But in the end, I feel like OKC will be just fine with the rebuilding process with all of of their draft picks and swaps, about 12 in all over the next 5 years. But I'm not sure how Harden and Ross will play together effectively since both guys are ball hogs who've been top 10 in usage percentage in the last 5 years in the league. Can the league please start already? Thank you so much for watching the show today. Keep enjoying the Sports Lounge on Elegbete TV. It's clutch time, baby.